Happy fall. My grandpa, Lovell, when he's passed away now, but he had developed himself into a very strong business role and influence with many people. And I know the topic was brought up around his funeral time that he could literally fire someone and somehow that person went away from the meeting feeling like on cloud nine, like it was the best day of their life. One, he genuinely cared for people, and if he really did have to let someone go, somehow, it would be like the guy coming home, be like, hey, what's the smile on your face, honey? Oh, I talked with Lovell March today. Yeah, what happened? Oh, he let me go. Oh, we had such a good conversation. And like, he's like empowered for like the next chapter of his life. Like what a powerful thing. And I'm not talking about being fake, but genuine care and empowerment. And today's topic, I'm using shrewd as a serpent, innocent as a dove, to be both rock and water, okay? To be both tender and tough, to be both warm yet demanding, to be relatable yet principled. There was a piece, I like to follow Basketball is Psychology. It's a great resource if you're on Instagram or Twitter. But it talked about coach with Boston now, came from Butler, Indiana boy, Brian Stevens, and about how effective leaders are warm yet demanding. And when we think of being shrewd as a serpent, that certainly, if you take that context away from innocent as a dove, wow, that seems like two different subject lines, right? But it is a powerful element. And I'm not just talking, and I don't want to relate it in the sense of, being physical or being mean or things of a violent nature, but relating it into a more internal sense, right? To be shrewd as a serpent, but innocent as a dove. To be innovative, crafty. I know I mentioned it in the lesson prior, but maybe in the sense that I was talking about with that, jaded in a positive sense, or the end result of channeling hard experiences in our life to a positive forward progression. But here's the key. We learn over time in life, and going back to the other concept in the last broadcast, to go beyond just the idea of, hey, do I become bitter or better, but to develop a weighty optimism. It is powerful when you can channel these events that would normally make you hard-hearted and rough around the edges, but you can channel that energy to making tough guidelines for yourself, conviction, commitment, more outward approaches, fortifying your principles, fortifying your purposes, your priorities. You're not, when the wind blows, you just don't blow with it, everything. You are a rock. But to be able to keep the other part of you tender, right? To have that childlike, that innocence, that dove-like quality, that purity, that lightheartedness, that tenderness, to be able to have that inner child quality, that innocence factor, in how you deal with people. And think of a amazing doctor coming out of Yale, right? John Hopkins, and yet they don't possess the bedside manners. So when we develop as leaders, and we have to make tough calls, and we have to make tough decisions and have tough conversations and know when to draw the line and have our pecking order. And that's strength when you have priorities that you don't budge on. That, you know, you start to care less about outwardly opinions, and you start to care about the opinions that really matter. Like for real. Like, what do I care how 7 billion people might think about me, good or bad, you know, compared to that of my sweet daughter and my junior boy. When we think about the impressions that we want to have that really go on and perpetuate, when we are strong enough to understand priorities in our life and not be pushed off of those things, not let circumstances or other people drive us away from our priorities, that's tough. That is being a tough leader. That's being a strong leader. But inside, you know, where you can still be approachable, tender, a good listener, caring advice. You listen before you just speak. That someone can come to you and just tell you everything, and you don't even have to advise back. You just listen. That someone wants to just spill out to you and talk to you, to be approachable. That's a powerful balance. And I know we could get into more discussion on probably definitions in Hebrew and Greek and analyzing that text in the Gospels with Jesus, shrewd as a serpent, innocent as a dove. But in this context, I hope this can provide just some food for thought as leaders. It's a great example from my grandpa Lovell, Martz. And I just want to encourage you, be tough in the areas that it's good to be tough in, that it's needed to have a toughness and a strength there. But also know the areas of where to keep that childlike faith, that optimistic perspective. And we believe in you. MLS, have a great rainy day or sunny wherever you are. All right.